Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aging and Spirituality Podcast. I'm Kathy Lee Taylor.
And I'm Chris Jensen.
And today we're going to have an interesting conversation and a bunch of exercises. I'm going a little off what would be the normal podcast, and we're going to do some actual inner work starting from the beginning. So let me just give you an idea of the topic. I called it the power of flow. How to manifest your dreams and live your best life. So what we're really talking about here is that a lot of people, and based on what has been taught, and you've probably read many times in your life that, if you can think your way through to manifestation, you can visualize, you can do all these things. And I'm not saying those aren't good things or effective things, but I think I found something that is a lot better. And it has to do with not just tuning into the energetic flow of your inner self, which we talk about very often, and of course that will be part of this process, but also understanding how your emotions will guide you. Many times, and I think Chris and I have spoken about this before, we talk about how the emotions are your guidance system. They often tell you when you're off course when it comes to whether you're on the spiritual path or not. Your emotions will guide you back on. So here's the thing. If you really want to manifest, what we're going to show you today through doing these exercises is that you've got to align with the feeling sense that already lives inside of you. And of course, that's your inner voice, your inner self that we call the true self in yoga. So it's not visualizing. It's not using your thoughts to attract or to manifest something. For a lot of people, that doesn't work. So I'm hoping that you're going to have an open mind about this and try this technique with us today. I told Chris before we came on, she's my guinea pig. And she's so nice. She's going to do that for me.
I'll do it.
So we're gonna walk her through the process. I'm going to be speaking like to her and of course to everybody who's listening. So please, I hope you're going to play along with this. You'll find it very interesting, and you may find it to be really powerful for yourself. So, okay, here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is get comfortable. By the way, if you're driving, please don't do this. Yeah. So, I mean, listen, but don't be trying to do any of this stuff if you're in the car. Way too distracting. Go get the podcast. It'll be recorded and up later tonight. Go get it when you get home and do it then. So for those of you people listening and are at home, grab a pen and paper. You're going to want to write your answers down. Let's see. And just like a little side note, as you're doing this exercise, don't edit what's coming through. So if I ask you to do something and you get an impression, write it down. Write the first impression down. Don't allow your thoughts, your mind to come in and go, that can't be right, and try to edit it. Please don't do that. Put down your first impressions. So the first question is, what do you really want from your life right now? What is it that you've always wanted, but never had the chance to do or to receive? Think about that. This cast is all about your unrealized potential. So we're focusing on, let's just say we only had a limited amount of time left on the planet and we wanted something very important that we've always kind of had in the back of our mind or in our hearts. We want to be able to do it. We all want to be able to learn it. We all want to be able to attract it, whatever that is. I want you to take those first impressions and write that down. That's what we're going to be working with. I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, it shouldn't take much longer than that. And now ask yourself, what are the things that you are good at? Sometimes people find this question hard. So if it stumps you, consider what your friends tell you are your skills and talents and write those things down. And then one more question. What are you doing that feels like a passion? In other words, when you're doing this particular activity, time flies by. You don't even notice that there's time. Okay, hopefully I have your answers to those questions now. And what we're going to do is really in our minds and hearts, we're going to set an intention to be open and receptive to making a shift in your life right now that you've always wanted to do, but up until this point, you've never been able to accomplish it. But it's something that you really, really desire, that you want. So why not? Let's do it. I want you to just forget about your thoughts completely. They don't help us in this situation. I'm not asking you to use them to manifest your dreams. I want you to just let them go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to align ourselves with our emotional sense that is already inside of us at the center of our being. So for a moment that you're not writing or doing anything, just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and gently let it out through your mouth with a double exhalation. Release any tension from your eyes, your face. Just let them settle and relax. Your shoulders, let them just move up and down and let go. Just scan your body lightly and let go of any tension that might be holding on in there. And now put your awareness right into your heart center. And I want you to forget about breathing for a moment and just let your body, every cell of your being, breathe. When you do that well, letting the body breathe, it'll take you to a very still place that is great for meditation. And for now, we're just going to have that beautiful sense in our heart. We're going to extend the energy of our heart about 2 inches out in front of us. That can be a pink mist or white light, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're going to leave it out there for the purposes of this exercise. And just you can open your eyes and come back for a moment. I'm just going to talk a little bit about an example of what we're doing here that is actually one of mine. So I've recently decided that I wanted to pursue writing more strenuously, I guess is the word, because I've committed to doing one article 5 times a week and sticking to it. And so far, I have been able to do that. And I have never done that in the past just because of the enormity of what it takes to be creative on that level, over and over every day. But what I'm already learning is how much more of a writer I can become if I stick to it, because I'm starting to understand what people want to hear and how to speak it in words that they can understand it, the message that I'm trying to get across, as well as the storytelling aspects of even nonfiction writing, or personal development writing, or anything like that can be told in a story. So it's really if anybody out there is a writer, you can understand that it's a real unlimited, endless field where you can learn your whole life, which I feel like I have been doing. So What writing feels like for me on the inside is when my emotions are aligned with my soul calling. I feel really productive and fulfilled. I don't struggle when I get up in the morning to write now. I don't know if it's because I set the intention or it's just this period in my life that I'm able to move forward with this particular desire because it's right for me, but I'm not forcing myself to find ideas. They are popping all over the place. Everywhere I look, I see a new idea for an article. I feel like I get up in the morning and I do my meditation and all of my morning routines and I grab my coffee and I can't wait to get to my desk. This is not normal for me. This is not something that I've experienced in the past, you know? I mean, that would have filled me with angst and dread if I would have thought that I was going to do something like that. But so what I'm describing to you is that when you're on the right track, you have that feeling, I'm on the right track because there is a flow, there is a connection that you didn't have before. And that connection is to your inner source, to that. I use the word divine, and I know some people can't connect with that word, but I really want it to sound sacred because it is. It is your personal journey. It is what connects you to your source. It's what you're here for. And so there is a mode that you get in, right? When you are actually tapping into that. For Chris, it would be teaching yoga, right? And I mean, there's other things in her life that she feels that way about, but would you say that's true for you? That's
Sure, absolutely.
when you're in teaching mode, you're not ever thinking I shouldn't be do this or I should be sitting on the beach, you know, like you're
Right. It's great to, whenever you're doing something, to feel like you're an instrument
an
of
instrument.
that consciousness inside. You're just the
that-
instrument. And when you're doing it, that's exactly how you feel. You're not feeling the struggle.
Exactly. I love that soul expression, you know,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. So, you know, and other people that aren't, because we talk like yogis, so we can't help it because we've been doing it for so long, but other people would call that successful, productive,
Right,
fulfilled, you know, words like that, right?
Right.
But the lack of the struggle is the part that I'm trying to get across. So let's break down what your flow looks like, okay? Do you have a good idea of how your life would change and how your day would be different when you live in the emotion of having what you really want? So excuse me, I've got some kind of a hair going on in my glasses. You need to take it out. Driving me nuts. Okay, so we already asked the questions about what it is that you would like to have, be, or do in your life right now. That one thing that's bugging you, that is a desire of yours that you would love to create or manifest into your world. So the key here is that we're going to focus on what it would feel like. What is the feeling sense to have already achieved your desire? It's in your life right now. What would that feel like? Take what you really want into your mind, whether it's creating art, spending time with your family, discovering a new relationship, whatever your desire is. You could be building a side hustle. Doesn't exclude business, whatever it is that you're trying to do in your world. Just get clear about what that is right now and ask yourself, does this light me up? Does this get me so excited that when I get up in the morning, I can't wait to go do it? And if you don't feel that way about that desire, throw it out and start again. Start again. I know that's hard to hear when you get into the process and you think you got the thing, but see, that's also part of the process, you know, because you might have a few false starts, right? You might think, oh, I really want to go to Bali. And then, you know, you start thinking about it and you're like, I don't really want to get on a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to fly, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, maybe you have a couple of false starts, no big deal, but you keep doing that, refining what it is that you really, really want by connecting to your inner
You
self.
got to figure out what your top desire
is.
And, you know, because there's going to be a million other ones that could take you in different directions away from it. I
right.
think that's the key. What's the top desire, and maybe letting go of the things that take you away from it.
As you're talking, I can remember you teaching this on some level, and there was a technique. Are you thinking that right now?
No.
There's a technique? Okay, well, if you comes to mind, you can at some point jump in and say it. But yes, you want to get to that thing that is speaking to your heart. And that's why we had to center your energy and your heart to begin with. We want you to get in touch with what it is that your soul is calling for you to do right now, right now. So yeah, number one, you got to get excited about it. Write down how it makes you feel. This will help you get realistic. If the goal is not something that lights you up, you'll find out as you're writing down how this thing's going to make you feel, what's going to change in your life, and how it's going to look if you actually get it. So you want to choose something that's going to light you up, make you feel really alive, like you've never felt before. And in a way, I mean, I know when that happens for me, I feel like relief, like, holy moly, why did that take so long to get to? What?
We have so many things
Yeah.
that pull on us. I think we should be doing
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
right, exactly. So many things that can distract us. So this is important, and if you don't get it the first time, please come back and do it over and over again until you actually get there. Okay, so we get to where we're excited about the possibility of what it is that we want to create in our life. For me, the example was writing, which, may sound like painful to other people that are struggling with the process, but it just happens that at this point in my life, I'm finding that that is the thing I'm feeling called to do. I don't really know why, and I don't really know how or where it's going, but I'm following it. So
that's the thing, that you're allowing yourself to follow it.
I'm allowing myself to follow it and see where it goes, kind of like Alice down through the looking glass, down the hole, find it and follow it. So now what we want to do when we get that sense feeling, we want to be able to stay open to that good feeling of desire, that being lit up, that being excited about the possibility, and also be in a receptive mode. So you've already said, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm feeling connected to. And because you know that it's already part of who you are. It's already part of your world. You're just finally waking up and finding it.
Yeah.
You're like, you've been traveling down the road. And
It's been driving you all along. You just didn't know that.
Exactly. And all of a sudden you come down the brook and you go, what the heck? Okay, there you are. Yeah, that's the annoying part, but it's good. It's really good because you can get there. Okay, so being open and receptive, just I want to talk a little bit about how that feels on a daily basis. For me, it feels like creating a sacred space. This is a word I have grown to love over and over again. Sacred to me is, it's mine. It's unique and it's connected to my source. I mean, that's what sacred means for me. Maybe you see that differently, but whatever you want to call that space, you want to create that for yourself every day. That sacred space that is open and receptive to your calling. Don't ignore
Yeah,
it.
we don't do that. We fill our
don't do
lives
that.
up with all these busy things we have to do, and we need to give ourselves that time.
That's absolutely right. So you give yourself over every day, all day long, to distractions. Say no. In the morning, get up and you know what it is that you want to do and feel and how you want to be. Allow yourself that sacred space and time to have that, whether you have to get up and go to work, whatever it is, give yourself that space to be in an open and receptive new place where new stuff can come in, where you can stay and connect to your source and to your purpose. So there you go. Okay, so now just a little couple notes about, as you're staying open and receptive. Let's just say, I mean, in an ideal world, you fall right into it and it's blissful and peaceful and everything's wonderful. But if that doesn't happen for you, and you have things like doubt come up in your mind, okay? Because doubt's one of the big alligators you got to struggle with, right? Questions about how are you going to get it done? These are really common responses to this kind of exercise. So let me just say up front, this is, and write these tips down. This is important for you to remember when you're in your sacred space. If you have doubt come up, tell your ego, because it's your ego, being fearful and it doesn't want to let go, and it's had control for a long time, and you're saying, no, I'm taking control, and it's having a little tantrum. So, because you want to do something new and it's not aligned with the ego. So you want to acknowledge that the doubt is there. Don't resist it. That will give it more power. Just befriend it. Let it know that you're doing this no matter what. You are determined, and you can tell your ego to take a back seat for now. That's an important one. Just learn to let it go if it comes up. Same thing if your mind starts to question, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get this done? How am I going to have, how am I going to write every day? And how am I going to make any money doing this? And how is this going to look? And blah, 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 blah.
That's the block right there.
She got agitated just hearing it.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Right.
Well, but it's how we're trained, it
Yeah.
really, when it comes to, you got to work, and how is that going to happen? And how am I going to get a job? And blah, we're trained in that environment from a very young age, but it's not going to help you when it comes to connecting with source.
And to really allowing a better manifestation of what's
It
truly
is.
yours.
And that is because source can imagine it and create it way bigger than you can.
Mhm.
So just know that you're in good hands, and let that idea or feeling that you have to be in control, the how, let it go. Let it go and see what happens, because really that's where you start feeling like you're having serendipity in life, right? Because you weren't having expectations, you weren't trying to make it happen with your will, you weren't doing all this crazy stuff, and then stuff shows up and you're like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Like crazy things happen that you can't even imagine. So that's the thing about the how. Don't ask. Just know you're going there. Just keep that feeling sense in your heart. I'm going to feel like this every day because this lights me up. And this is what I want to center in, this energy that is coming from the soul. So one other last tip that might come up for some people that I want you to be aware of, and that is when the energy feels like it's stuck in your body, you're going to know. You want to put your awareness in exactly that spot. A lot of times people, when I'm coaching them, they'll tell me they feel like their energy is stuck in their throat. And that happens a lot for women because they don't often express
That's what they're really thinking.
what they're really thinking. They're hiding it,
Yeah.
they're afraid to cough up what they're really is on their mind. So that's just a little example, but any energy can get stuck anywhere up and down the chakra system. So you want to know where that energy is stuck. And then take the most beautiful 3-letter chant in the world, HUM, hum, hum 3 times into that particular spot in your body. Just imagine that spot in your body and chant hum 3 times. It will just disperse. It will just be let go of. Okay. So that I think covers the big distractors, the big, ego tantrums that'll come in when you first start doing this practice. Write those down, keep them with you as you're developing this sacred space every morning for your life to have this new manifestation. Okay. So once you've done that practice in the morning, you've declared what you want, you've centered in your heart, you've been open and receptive and are attuning with that calling from inside, and you are lit up. It's like, okay, you turn the light on and you are ready for the rest of your day. You're ready for the world. Your only job now is to just stay open, and it will come. And one of the great ways to do that is to be grateful. When you are grateful, you're open on all levels, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You are in a very sweet and deep spot. So be grateful. When you come out of your sacred space, just be grateful you had it, that you gave yourself the time to be there and to do this practice. Be grateful for God for the connection, that kind of thing. Just keep that energy there and do it every morning just before you meditate. Had to sneak that in the meditation. So, because you want to just be grateful for that result because it's already there and you are learning to align with it.
And when you're being grateful for it, it opens the door.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It really just, what would be the word, cements the energy in the place
Right.
where it needs to be, keeps it there for you. And your gratitude will grow. The better you get at creating that sacred space and being open and being lit up and following what the calling of the soul is, you will cement that gratitude and it'll become part of who you are, and it will just continue to grow. There's no limits to that. And you're going to have other emotions, you're going to feel joyful, you're going to feel peaceful.
Yeah.
All kinds of things that come in. So yeah, as you're experiencing, serendipity that starts to come in and greet you, and old friends start to call, and new people are introduced in your life, and little miracles happen that you think, wow, I didn't even try to get that. How did that come? You can just enjoy it. You don't have to be sitting there writing down everything that comes in. Just enjoy it. Just let the process happen. Go about your day and just, feel that energy in action, that energy in motion that you've put in motion. That's what you've done. So, okay. So now you're tuning into the life force, the unconditional love, the freedom. It will feel free if you're doing it right. You will feel like you are free. I'm not saying you don't have a job or you don't have to go and do something. Chris and I have been on the planet for a long time. We're still doing stuff.
Right.
But that we do carry that unconditional love and that freedom with us. So that is the state of being that you are striving for. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It will bring all kinds of benefits into your life, and it will also affect the other people around you. You will be a beautiful, what's the word?
Well, it's
example.
Just,
example. You will be,
well, more than an example, it will affect other people. Just
that's
your
what I was trying to
energy,
do.
your way of being affects the people around you, and they start to shift.
That's what she helped me. I was trying to find the words, and that is, you will have effect on others. You'll notice that you'll walk into the room, the energy will change. People will lighten up. People will be friendlier. Things will change around you that used to be stuck. You'll see.
Yep.
You'll see how it happens. So stay connected to your inner calling. I hope that helps you. Some of you might want to bring the energy, if you're uncomfortable with the heart being out open, bring your energy back in to your heart at this point. But make sure you tune into it every morning and just follow that little exercise. And did you have anything that you wanted to comment on the process that you would
No,
change?
I think it's a great process. I think it's a great process. It's a great way of, just taking the time to let go all the I have to's and I shoulds.
Let go of the distractions, set yourself up for successfully tuning into yourself
and going forward.
Being able to receive what it is that is meant for you in this life. Okay. We're hoping you're doing amazing, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.